baby. We're back. We're back. It's a little bit dark today. I'm tired as all hell. Don't know what the fuck's going on last night. It's one of those nights where you sleep through the whole night and you're still really tired when you get up. Anyways, plenty to discuss today as Bitcoin does head back up above 70,000 bucks. Of course, we got gold moving, we got oil moving, most importantly, and traditional markets still kind of hanging on for dear life. But I don't know, is it looking weaker? Is it looking stronger? It is hard to tell right now for traditional market because they still continue to dance around the same sort of pivots, not necessarily confirming any sort of reversal, nor necessarily a breakdown as well. So we are kind of caught in limbo here, but ultimately the same previous analysis does still hold true. I'm preparing in the background because I'm going to go into the range today. I'm very excited about that. Going to test out some new PCCs and my new my new ghetto blaster too. Really excited about that. Bill Norblatt says, finished the beginner course last week. I've got my written system in front of me. Thanks again for all the efforts. That's fucking awesome, man. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that you didn't just go through the program. You actually did the work. And when you do the work and you get that fundamental initial knowledge, then you're going to have some fucking results, man. Assuming that, you obviously execute properly. That is a little bit of a more difficult part of trading, of course. But, if you do stick with it and you do follow the fundamentals, it will sink in over time. It absolutely will sink in over the time. I've seen it countless times with myself, with other people. And it really just comes down to repeating the right behaviors, which is as simple. It's literally this simple, although it is difficult to do. I definitely acknowledge that, but it is as simple as just following that exact same plan that you wrote down. If you wrote down that plan and you literally just do those actions, that's all it needs to be. But of course, our pesky human emotions get in the way more often than not and do dissuade us from such plans. That is why I've kind of turned a little bit more algorithmic trading when I do actual trading. But of course, that is probably the biggest or the next biggest hurdle. But again, it just comes down to progressive desensitization, which effectively is continuing to do the right actions despite your emotional state. Indeed, man. Indeed. Yeah. Paper testing it this week. Hell yeah, man. Yes. Going well. Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. The beautiful thing about paper testing as well is that when you actually see those trades play out time and time again, you start to get an idea of perhaps what a winning trade might look like. But probably the biggest sort of, unlock that I got from really doing that when I was like really, really deep in the, in the back testing scene and doing these sort of things, strategy creation and whatnot, is that when I would go ahead and test my strategy, the exact same one that I laid out on paper, I would start to see when I was testing it that there were many trades that it would give the green light to enter, and I'd be like, "Oh God, not this one! This one's going to turn out terribly." Because I was doing it by bar replay, right? So I actually didn't know the result in advance, and then as I let it play out, I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like most of the ones that I think are terrible are winning, and a lot of the ones that I think are great are losing. And then I just had this massive epiphany. I don't fucking know what's going to happen. And when you don't know what's going to happen, but you do have an edge, all you need to do is continually play that edge in order for it to play out over time and just trust that you don't know any better anyways. It just is what it is, man. It's a very reductionist way of looking at it, but it is the best and most powerful way I've found to create consistent trading plans over time. And honestly, man, once you get your first successful trading plan, you can honestly just iterate off of that until you die, more or less. I mean, there are some trading plans that, yes, they will fall apart over time. But for the most part, assuming that you've kind of put things in order as we laid them out in that program, then yeah, just playing that out and kind of iterating on that, you'll end up with something completely different down the line. But, you can start with that and then just basically finish with that as well. And I've actually done that in some regards as well. Claude has been down and the yawn was for the range bound Bitcoin price. Wait, what the fuck? Claude is down. That's awful. I actually just got acquainted with Claude recently. I've been mostly on ChatGPT and Grok. Grok, I actually really like because it doesn't try to spin you when you are asking questions, whereas like ChatGPT certainly will. Probably Claude does a little bit as well. But I gotta say, man, Claude is fucking good when it comes to just fleshing out ideas and one-shotting a presentation or one-shotting, this or that. It is really good. I have to say, man, like for a presentation that I intend to do in the future, I just fed it all of the information that I have. And I said, could you put this into a slideshow presentation with this information? It's like, no problem. Come back 5 to 10 minutes later. And it was actually like It was good. It was really, really good. Absolutely usable. Maybe I want to, fix some of the pieces here and there. Make it bolster them up a little bit. But for the most part, I would say 98% of it was bang on. It's like, oh yeah, you did exactly what I wanted you to do, and you made it into like a very nice and professional presentation. This is perfect. I love it. I fucking love it, man. What's up, stylist? Go, been a long time, man. Hope all is well. Have you read Machine Trading? Have I read Machine Trading like a book? No, I haven't. I've had a bit of experience with it. Machine trading, I do feel like, is kind of, it's using very seductive terms: machine trading, machine learning. It sounds really advanced, really cool. But at the end of the day, it really is only as good as your initial input. So it can be misleading, in my opinion, but it can also be incredibly useful. It really does matter, though, the operator behind it. It's really only as good as the person who is behind it, especially at the beginning, just, watching over it. That's kind of my conclusion that I've really been led down towards. Stylisco says, I think it's slowly turning bullish. Watching that daily on Jewel showing some potential continuation. Let's actually check that out. I haven't looked at the Jewel this week. Let's see. I know I have my Jewel chart right here. Let's check it out. I remember last week, though, there was a signal on the Jewel, I think, beginning. Let's see if it came to fruition here. Yeah, I see what you're seeing. So this one, you're kind of looking for it to kind of flatten out, turn back up, and give that continuation signal. That is what we would expect if Bitcoin is going to mount an assault to like 77,000 or 80,000 bucks. I actually do think that is possible, here in late March, maybe in early April. But I still think that Bitcoin overall is range bound to the upside. I don't think you're going to see a runaway rally. If Bitcoin did trade up into the mid 70s, I mean, personally, if I had to take a position, I'd probably short it. I probably will short some call spreads if I do see a wick above, 75,000 bucks, especially if things get closer to 80,000 bucks. I start to get, start to be fucking foaming at the mouth on that one. Maybe later on, Bitcoin does reclaim those numbers for sure. But, in terms of like a next 2-week trade, I would be more than interested in selling a call spread during that time. But for right now, I still got my short put spread on. I haven't really made any, changes there. There's really no reason to make any changes, just waiting for time to expire, letting time be my ally, as this one will expire on March 27th fully, and essentially as long as Bitcoin is above 61,000 bucks, I will be making Moon, which is good, which I like. I like making money. That's good. We like that. We like that. I like that. You like that. Everyone likes that. It's good. It's not a bad thing. I hate this sort of conditioning that we've had in the Western world as like money is bad, power is bad. No, doing things bad are bad. Doing things bad are bad. Doing bad things are bad. Doing bad things is bad. Doing bad things are bad. Doing bad things are not good. I have the vocabulary of a third grader. Amazing. Fucking amazing. Anyways, let's get to the actual analysis of the day. Get those pom-poms out for Bitcoin. Give me a B. Give me a T. Give me a C. What does that spell? Fuck my ass. Terrible thing to say. Does the skeleton key have the ability to test a system that combines different indicators that are in different time frames? To reference an indicator from a different time frame, all in the same setup? Kind of. Okay, if you're doing it with moving averages, there is actually a built-in feature for that. If you're not doing it with moving averages, you could still technically set that up, but you would need to create an indicator that is pulling from a different time frame for whatever indication that you want, and then you could use that as an input. So that would work. That would be one way around it. But yeah, it'd require another step, obviously. Bob Lucas calling 40 to 50,000 bucks in October after rally. Fair enough. I think a lot of people are on the same page that Bitcoin's, going to try a rally here. I'm on the same page too, but I think I'm a little more optimistic than other people, which is quite uncharacteristic. Usually I'm like, the biggest bear in a bear market, and this is obviously a bear market right now. But for all intents and purposes, like, I don't want to be getting super, super bearish just yet right here. I am certainly open to more downside. I mean, 40 to 50,000 bucks wouldn't be that surprising, to be honest with you. But I'd like to give this area a chance first, because there are a few things that we'll be going over in this video as well, compounded with several of the other things that we went over in yesterday's video and in previous videos as well, that I think are at least worth considering. It's like, if Bitcoin does break down, I don't think it has that much more downside personally, but fair enough. And again, full disclosure, I did buy low $60,000 territory as well. I did. Okay. Anyways, let's see. So yeah, getting to the actual Bitcoin analysis, I'll start it off actually with perhaps more of the optimistic thing right here, which is the 10-day time frame on Bitcoin. We are almost undoubtedly going to see the cross between the yellow 21 and that green 55 EMA, which is almost never a good thing. However, on certainly lower term timeframes. However, on the 10-day time frame, historically, this has actually generally occurred around macro lows. Now, in 2022, that was not necessarily the case. When the cross happened, Bitcoin was bottoming out on that 200 simple on the 10-day time frame. It did move lower overall. You might call this a black swan with FTX collapsing during that time. But again, long term, when I'm thinking as a long-term investor, I like this area, as value. When we go to this previous cycle than that from 2018, what do you know? That same cross between the 21 and 55 happened one bar before the low, actually. So it didn't really slink that much lower. It was basically on the lows if you had to, if you really had to squint your eyes and say it. And then of course, the one before that was back on over here in 2014. And when the cross actually happened, it was actually literally on the low right here, because yeah, when the cross actually did confirm, it was right here, boom, that was on the actual low. And of course, before that, it's not going to cross in this cycle. It's just a little bit too early. So my point is that when these moving averages cross, which this one is nearly inevitable on this next close, which is actually tonight in 7 hours, 23 minutes and 40 seconds and counting, lows very, very close to being in, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a slight slink lower. I think we could possibly get a wick down to that 200 simple on the 10-day time frame. But again, I would be looking at this as an opportunity. I think that we're a lot closer to a low than we are not personally. And I feel like I'm one of maybe the only people saying that. I don't really listen to too many other people, but from what I gather, especially in comments, that's what people have kind of been telling me recently, for sure. So I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. I'm sure that there are some mega perma bulls out there who are always bullish, but I'm generally not that person. But I'm still kind of looking at this area as like, there is potential here for sure. There is certainly potential. Stylistical says the 2 day is already continuing on the jewel, and the 3 and 5 day also shows some potential weekly. Let's actually check that out right now. Like I said, I didn't prepare this material. I'm just reading what Stylistical said. 2 day time frame. Maybe you have different settings. Maybe you're looking at like a 2 smoothing factor. I know a lot of people use that. So let's see. No, I don't really get that. But I mean, this is better than not. I mean, you got them crossing back into what isn't so a fucking disastrous position. 3 day time frame. Yeah, same thing. 5 day time frame. Yeah, not great. 10-day time frame, not great. Getting down to these regions, just not necessarily a good thing. But now that I do recognize it, in this region for the 10-day jewel, this actually kind of is where a lot of the previous bottoms have been found. The only one that went lower was 2018, actually. So kind of interesting right there. Again, just kind of correlates to my views here that, Bitcoin very well might retest around the current lows, maybe a little bit lower, but I don't know, man. I'm not necessarily looking for this one, at least at first glance, to make significantly new lows right now. If it does, I still think that that's, like a month or two away, more or less. Anyways, moving on from there, I also do want to speak about the short-term corrective signal, because we do have a few things going on here. I'll bring it over to this chart, because we haven't actually looked at this one from the Quant Prime service as of recent, but it is a corrective setup right here. If you've been on this channel now for, I don't know, maybe a couple months at least, you've seen many of these corrective setups play out. Generally, we've been looking at them to the downside. In this case, it's going to be to the upside. Obviously, Bitcoin's in a downtrend, so correction means, short-term bounce. And it is the interplay on CME between that red 5 EMA and the yellow 21 EMA. And if the red 5 EMA crosses to the upside of that yellow 21 EMA, generally we see a corrective target to that green 55 EMA. I can go ahead and backtest this for the past 10 years or so on Bitcoin, probably even more than that. And we can see that just blindly playing this as a setup actually has led to positive equity curve results. It does have that nice up and to the right features over here. Yeah, the last few trades have been losers, but again, those are paper cut losses. And some of these, winning trades are actually like quite nice. In fact, if we go into, or can I go into, oh God, TradingView fucking changed again. I just do not understand stupid ass fucking TradingView. I swear, every time they get into a board meeting, someone just says, hey guys, does anyone have any new ideas for how to fuck up this service as best as possible? I got an idea, bro. Let's just change around everything that works and make it not work. Indifferent. That's a great idea. Yeah, fucking right. Anyways, let's see. So where is our profit factor is actually almost 3, which seems a little bit too high, man. I want to see, yes, I want to see the average winning trade, which is 4.5%. The average losing trade, losing one spot, 70%. And percent profitable is loaded 50%. So flip a coin. This one might happen, might not happen. But if you do win, you get about 3 times what you would have if you lost. So that is going to be a nice setup, a nice risk reward setup. In this case, you know, winning about 4.5% from what would be likely an entry at around $70,500 would, well, that'd be a lot higher. That'd be closer to 10% if that does play out. But right now, that daily 55 EMA on CME is hovering around $77,500. So, you know, possible. And Bitcoin does have a daily higher low in right here. So, you know, it's not that crazy of an idea to expect right now. But again, we don't actually have that cross as of this current moment. We can forecast the exact price that needs to close above today in order to force that cross, thanks to caretakers RSI, although there are some nice things with that too. But I'm talking about with caretakers moving average crossover level indicator. Let me put in the info panel right here. And we want to see the interplay between the number 1 and number 5. Okay, let's do that. We'll do that with the first one right here, 1 and 5. Okay, and get rid of all these because that's just going to confuse me right now. And let's see what it spits out. Show me the, oh, it's not going to do that. Okay, so, oh, do I have this on the wrong one? Hold on. Oh my God, I do have it on the wrong one. All right, so hopefully the 5 and the 21 are a lot closer here. Let's see. Oh, nope. No, it is the 5 and the 21. Okay, yes. All right, I was correct. Okay, beautiful. But why isn't this working over here? Where is my, okay, 5, 21. Yeah, 71,692. 71,692 is what is required to close above today in order to force that cross today. If not, and Bitcoin kind of hangs around here, you know, we'll probably see it happen tomorrow, but that would be a little bit higher. I put a green line where that essentially would be. Not impossible. Bitcoin's kind of sold off on that on the first pass this morning, but yeah, an area to be aware of coming into later today. If Bitcoin does close above there today or even tomorrow, I'd say as well, you know, we are likely going to validate that move a little bit higher. Again, it is a corrected bounce. This is not like a runaway reversal to the upside. I don't think that that's realistic at all, but you know, it could be a nice 10% move or so to the upside, also playing out the meta signal setup too. Anyways, on top of that, we got the Reverend Ribbons over here. This one did reclaim the mid-band and effectively that sort of green line right here, which is the short-term target, these dotted lines in the upper band, is still very much valid. It's still very much viable. And that is a valid target as long as Bitcoin is trading above, closing above on the daily, the mid-band, which is 68,130 and 66 cents. So, you know, short-term, I still think that you're going to see that move. Medium term, I think that there's certainly a potential for a move higher. And then, of course, we can move up the point of failure, the invalidation point, to effectively Monday's low. You know, if Bitcoin trades below Monday's low at 65,830, then yeah, I do think that we will get that washout to the downside. You're going to at least see a retest of the lows, maybe slightly lower. That would be the chance for Bitcoin to put in a 5 handle. And then I'd be very much aware that if Bitcoin does have one of those quick intra-week wicks down and then closes up, that would start to look really fucking good for potentially the next major low. But again, a lot remains to be seen. And ultimately, either which way, in my opinion, if you are super bullish or super bearish, I do expect at some point these lows to get retested again, like a lot closer to the current lows. So I really don't think that there is, you know, any major threat of a phenomenal move to the upside past, you know, even $80,000 in the short term here. You know, it's likely going to get more and more boring, as we've been saying. Going over to traditional markets, again, same thing over here. It's like NAVs and SPY take every fucking opportunity to not confirm reversal nor a breakout. In this case, still the reversal conditions are the same. Not yesterday's low, but the day prior than that on Monday would be the reversal point. In fact, don't even need to wait for that. Just this price action pivot here at 24,352. Again, below there, I do call a breakdown. Until then, it really does seem to be fighting here for a nice low. It won't be confirmed, however, until we see the same thing that we spoke about yesterday, which is a closure above this price action pivot high, which is 25,250. Whichever one of these sides gets broken first is what I'm going with. If you break to the upside, I'm looking for highs to get retested. If you break to the downside, I'm looking for, you know, 23 handle, maybe lower. Probably comes along the side of, you know, some really nasty news as well. But for right now, you know, it's just giving us a couple of pin bars in a row. Doesn't really help all that much. I guess it does keep the Bula's hopes alive. I mean, this is looking, you know, better in the short term for the Bula's sell-offs than it is the bear-offs. But again, I would still be going off of those two boundaries. That is where things actually do get validated. But for right now, hanging in there, got to give it the benefit of the doubt, at least in my opinion. Going over to oil, we did call a top in this one, maybe even a macro top. And I'm still sticking with it, man. We saw that severe move to the downside that we spoke about on Monday already. This one's spiking even a little bit lower than what I was anticipating at $75 or so. I am looking for this one to bounce probably a little bit higher than where it's at right now, but this is classic potential bull trap behavior. I would be looking at any sort of a rejection around the upper 90s, let's say between 94 to about 98, but definitely not over 100. I think this is kind of like your high probability zone. Let's actually see if it lines up with some major fibs here. Oh, what do you know? 50% retracement level, 94. 618 is 98.5. So yeah, somewhere in that pocket right there. If you do see rejection there, that would look like the classic bull trap before getting ready for a major move to the downside. But for right now, I do think that it has found a low. Next move should be a rally, and I'd be anticipating somewhere in this region here. Again, if you see a swift rejection, that's my confirmation of this being a bull trap and macro highs being in. Again, long term, I do think that the case for that is actually pretty good, just with the way that this week is operated. Whenever you see major volatility like this, I mean, also represented by the BBWP indicator, seeing the highest levels of volatility in a while, you're almost always at least a major high, perhaps even a macro high. And that coupled with, of course, that spike in volume. I mean, this one does certainly have a potential to do that. My personal opinion is that it will do it, but it is not confirmed just yet. How would you confirm a full-on breakdown? Well, one, we need to see that bull trap move, and then two, obviously just trade below this week's low, and that would just be full-on validation. Get ready for this thing to fucking collapse. But for right now, I actually do expect the next move to be a bounce here. Other than that, I guess we could go quickly to gold. Gold, I mean, really not doing all that much, to be honest. It's been basically sideways as fuck for a while. Not necessarily good, not necessarily bad. I am still looking at this as more than likely a trading range, and you just found your high, so you probably come back down towards the lows at 50,000, or sorry, not 55,000 or so, like low 5,000s. Other than that, I personally still think that this is going to be a major high right here, maybe a macro high. But I don't know how we can confirm that at this point. To confirm a macro high would actually need to really come back down below. Again, yeah, same things before the February lows or the mid-February lows, because actually it was lower over here. But yeah, mid-February lows at 48.50 or so. Until then, I do expect a short-term downside move, but that's just a range move, so it doesn't really mean all that much, I suppose. I think silver is the one that's actually moving, or at least that's what I have in my head right now. Yeah, this one looking a little bit more like that next lower high. So again, I am looking at this as likely to come back down to the range lows. Gold stronger, obviously. But I think silver is kind of the tell. It's a little bit, it's a much easier chart right here with silver. This one looks like your classic bull trap and then down. So yeah, fair enough. Anyways, Hoy says, like the live streams, folks. I appreciate that, but all good, man. Ice PP says, silver looking chart. What does that even mean? I don't know. I am looking at silver right now. Overall silver, I know a lot of people fundamentally think that this one is actually a lot better than gold, but in terms of trading, man, gold is going to be the index. It's going to be like SPY. Silver is going to be like fucking Russell 2000. No, okay, it's not that bad. It's going to be like, I don't know. It's going to be like industrial sector. Anyways, let's see. I'm going to take another few sips of this. I'll read through a few more of these comments as well. Stock Market Anonymous says, Crown, you don't look at 3-month levels for a more macro. We can look at it. I mean, I just don't look at it every fucking video, because otherwise I'd be doing the same goddamn video every fucking time, right? It's get quite boring, right? But as far as Bitcoin goes on the quarterly time frame, do we have any signals here? It's a real question. And as of right now, I could definitely argue that the bearish divergence here has already played out. We've seen already a move to what I always consider like the easy target, which is the yellow 21. We've seen a nice bounce off that. I would absolutely expect a big bounce off of the first test of that yellow 21. After that, probably retest the 5 EMA, and that's coming down from $85,000. So I imagine by the next quarter's open, it's probably gonna be around 80, maybe a little bit below 80. So that's probably about the time that we do see that test happen. And then from there, I would just expect a range between the 5 and the 21 for the next quarter on it. This is going to get fucking boring, man. It's going to get really fucking boring. I mean, you think things are bad right now, like fast forward a couple months, and I imagine this is going to be mind-numbingly fucking boring. So you better get ready to talk a lot about traditional markets and a lot about commodities, because that's where all the action's going on right now, man. That's where the opportunity is. That's where the action is. Bitcoin is no longer the hot thing. It's no longer the cool thing. I was listening to an Elliot Trades live stream. I think it was earlier this week, or Elio, I guess is what his name is on the YouTubes. But Elliot had on a guest who I actually really respect. His name is Mike McGlone. He's a Bloomberg analyst. And he's calling for like crazy low prices, like $10,000. Fair enough. I mean, I always respect people like that. Anyone who's been in the game for that long, does have something worth saying. But of course, anyone can be wrong as well. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't know exactly where I was going with that one. The kids use Oh God, the kids these days, the youngins. Yeah, man, it gets more and more cringe over time, doesn't it? Do the ribbits work on those timeframes? So when Revin designed this, I think he only designed it with the full hour and daily in mind. But when I go to the 12-hour, the weekly, the monthly, they do seem to play technically. What I would suggest to do, though, is that if you're interested in the Revin ribbons or the ribbits, is to go to the teachable link in the description below and just try it out for free for 7 days. And you can see for yourself, if it's going to work well on the asset at hand that you are looking at. But for example, we can go down to the 4-hour time frame. I think this one actually does work very, very well. I've seen the 12-hour time frame work very, very well as well. Yeah, this one actually works really, really well. In fact, maybe I should look a little more at this one. Yeah, short term, it'd still be given a target of 71,450, basically, like very, very short term. 12-hour time frame I think works incredibly well, as I just said. The 5-day I think is better than the weekly, and the monthly seems to also be pretty decent here too. So yeah, I think it can definitely work on different time frames. Definitely works on different assets as well. But you might want to slightly tune some of these settings right here, because not everything's going to be the same. Of course, when you look at Bitcoin, which trades 24/7, and then you look at traditional markets, which trades like 6.5 hours, 5 days a week, I think that you got to do a little bit faster settings for traditional markets personally. But yeah, you can see right here, 12-hour time. I think 12-hour time frame is honestly really fucking good. And this one's giving also a short-term target of 72,850 to 72,900 or so. Something like that, man. The Raven Eye says 10,000. Would BlackRock even allow that to happen? I don't think BlackRock matters as much as people think it does. BlackRock, again, is they're a fucking custodian, more or less. They're just doing trades on behalf of their own investors. Like, not that crazy, to be honest. But yeah, it's not like they decide these sort of things. They just do what their fucking investors tell them to do. Bryce is Circle looking primed. What do you think, Mr. Crown? Yeah, I was looking at this one earlier. It did have a nice move to the upside. But I know someone, I think Lutfi actually asked about that one. So let's actually get to the what's it called? Wait, what the fuck? Oh, derp. Sorry about that, caretaker. I see you over there. I just checked your message. Yeah, man, I was fucking around. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but this past night of sleep, it's just one of those times where you sleep and then you feel even worse when you wake up. It's weird, super fucking weird. I got this machine. Okay, does anyone know what this machine is? It's called a TENS 7000. It's like an electrical impulse that you can put on your body, and it's kind of like a massager almost, but it's massaging with electrical impulses. I just learned about this in the past couple of days, and then I tried it out for the first time yesterday or 2 days ago, and then also yesterday, and I cranked it up a lot yesterday. It's fucking fun, man. Torturing yourself like a fucking mouse, experiment. But I can say, man, I think that is the reason why I'm not feeling too great today, because it must have released like all of this ancient shit in my back, which is probably like wound up to craziness, at this point, because I haven't had a massage in a very long time. And now I'm feeling those effects. I think that's what it is. Yeah, Ben's chair knows about it. Yeah, you should also try it on your balls. You should put one on your ball and one on your ass cheek, and you will actually have great results as well. Stephen Schickman says, GLL daily, weekly, please. Sure, man. GLL. Okay, this is the ultra short gold. And let's go to a daily maybe. I still think the same thing as before, man. You do have a falling channel right here. You can't really call it reversal until you're really at minimum back above, what would this be, Monday's high. And even then, your classic reversal point is actually going to be 1835. I do see a higher low right here. Do I trust it as a higher low? I think you can treat it as a higher low and as long as it's above there. So, if I was setting up a trade right here, I'd say I'd be long with a stop loss below yesterday's low at 16.5 bucks. So I don't really need to, waste too much money to figure out if you can be wrong or right. But for all intents and purposes, man, this is a downtrend. Should be bearish on it. I can see the setup there. I think that that's a valid setup to play, but just be aware, trend is against you. So you're more likely to fail on that one than not. When I go to the weekly, do we have any bullish divergence? Not even bullish divergence here. In fact, did make new lows on that previous low. So yeah, fair enough, man. Not the easiest play right there, although setting up a trade plan is actually super fucking easy. And if you do reclaim that high, then it's going to be a nice shot up to $20, $20.50. And of course, you take out yesterday's low. I mean, send it back down to the lows, and it's probably going to make new lows while gold makes new highs. I'm a little bit averse to that situation happening. I think that that's less likely to happen personally. So if I'm going off of that, I would say I would actually be betting on this being a higher low, but understand where your risk is, understand, where the invalidation is. Of course, that's just my ideas on it. You can do what the fuck you want to do as usual. Steven Schickman says SMH daily weekly. He's back. SMH is the semiconductor ETF. This one was looking good, I believe, last time we looked at it, and it's still looking good right here. Massive bullish engulfing dildo closed on Monday, plus hidden bullish divergence, plus daily crown oscillator about to turn up here as well. I'm looking for this one to pop back up 410, 415 region in the short term. Yeah, another beautiful bounce off the 21 EMA as well. So the next sort of signal that I would be waiting for on this thing that would make me bullish for retest of the all-time highs and probably new all-time highs is just closing above last week's high at 407.36. And I do think that you will get a move intra-week above there. Just playing out that hidden bullish divergence, but does the weekly actually close above there or not? That's the real question. As long as it's below there, there is still potential for, more downside, obviously. But for right now, let it play out its little move, and I'd come back to it probably on Friday and see what it looks like there. That's the one that's actually going to decide the real movement of this. But overall, have to be biased towards upside. I mean, just look at the long-term chart, right? When you get those moves down, those corrective moves down to the yellow 21 EMA, take your fucking chances, in my opinion. If you lose this one, okay, super easy to manage. And guess what? Next area of interest is going to be like 325, 330-ish region. But yeah. Anyways, Great White Hype is here. He's looking at Tesla breaking out of a bull flag on the 4-hour question mark. I don't know. I don't really look at this one on a 4-hour time frame. Is it a bull? This is absolutely in no way, shape, or form a bull flag, my man. You can't have a bull flag in a downtrend. If you're on a 4-hour time frame, is it breaking out? No. So when you see shit like this, it is super deceiving, especially for the I almost said lawn drawers, for the line drawers out there, especially the diagonal line drawers, because you're going to be looking at this and you're like, oh, I think it's breaking those highs. I think it's breaking out actually. And I see these fail so fucking often. And the best way to validate an actual breakout in these cases, just take the last most important dominant high. This idea is expanded upon, of course, in the free Tier 101 playlist, which there's a link to in the description below, and of course, even more so in the Crown Trading Bible. And if you can reclaim that high, then you have a real reversal, and then just target back up towards these highs over here, more or less, with stops along the way. But for right now, no, I would not say it's a breakout just yet. You do have a lot of good signals here for sure, but it is certainly not a valid breakout just yet. Now, do I think it will follow through? I think there's a really good shot of it. You got daily drives of bullish divergence here. Yes, they are phantom drives, and you are coming off the 200 simple here as well. So I'm always going to bet on that, not because it's perfect, but because probabilistically speaking, it's going to work out more often than not. You're also on low volatility too. So where would be your invalidation, or more or less validation for real downside? Just back down below Monday's low. But for right now, I'd give it a chance, honestly. No, it hasn't confirmed the breakout. I think that it actually will try, though, personally. That's just my opinion. Anyways, Lutfi is here. She's looking at Circle. Just one moment. Very nice. You're looking at Circle 4-hour daily weekly. Yeah, so remember you asked about this one on Monday. I think you were shorting it from like 110 or something like that. I think I saw a little bit higher earlier today. I still think that this one, though, is probably putting in a top around here. Like I can't see this rally running away like past these highs over here. So it's kind of in the zone right now where I'd be looking for highs. I did have it topping out a little bit earlier at around 110 or so. Going to be wrong on that, obviously. I still think the same thing though. I really do. You don't have divergence here yet. Maybe on a 12-hour. No, maybe on a 4-hour. Just find a time frame that confirms, your beliefs, right? But well, we did get that move down to $100. Okay, so actually, so when I looked at it last with you on Monday, wait a second, no. Yeah, Monday was right around here. No, so we have not seen the move to $100 this week. We did see it last week. Fair enough. I still think that this one comes back down and at least tries to base around here. Personally, I would love to get this one somewhere down around, $70 to $60. That's what I'm waiting for. Am I going to be right on that or not? It's very possible I might not get my position. That's okay. I made my peace with that. But, this move right here, I do feel quite strongly about is not going to be the reversal right now. And I actually do still think this week, maybe next week, you do see that move back down around here to retest these major moving averages. Should be a bounce on the first pass as well. And that's in the mid 90s actually. So yeah, I would still be saying the same thing, honestly. I just don't see this rally running away. Shit, there's always a possibility that I'm wrong, of course, but I don't know. In this case, this is not a fucking low right here. This is not a low right here. It will be a low if it does something like this and puts in that higher low like this. That would be really fucking good. So that's what I'm waiting for. That's the perfect setup that I want to see. Until then, I ain't fucking touching it. It is what it is. Let's see. Straight Path says GM Crown. What's up, man? Ripper dip on CIFR. Yeah, it's been a while since we looked at this one. I don't recall. Whoops. Okay, maybe I should actually, type things properly. I don't recall what the chart looks like. Okay, it is consolidating on new highs, not a bad thing, but it is corrective in the short term. I think that you do correct a little bit lower towards $12 or so, but should be a bounce there, should hold a range, hopefully, if it is going to be bullish. But yeah, I would be expecting a little bit of downside in the short term. If you're on a daily, very specifically, yeah, same thing here. I think you come down, 12.5 to $12. Somewhere, I'll do a nice little blue box of peace and prosperity here, but something like this. I guess that's a little bit too low for me, but something like this, between 12.5 to 11.5, with $12 even right smack dab in the middle, something like that. Yeah, you got a series of lower highs here with the same lows. That is bearish. So there's a real potential that it does break down. So while I am calling for a short-term correction to the downside, it can get a lot worse later on. There is potential for a real breakdown, but I would want to see the first move into here first and then come back to it, rather than try to guess, fucking 3 moves in advance. Crown looks angry on the thumbnail. Yeah, I also look like I'm fucking 80 years old, but I still have hair. Maybe I'm on my 5th hair transplant at that point, but I still have hair. Gropes Gangs. Not sure what that is in reference to, but nice. Appreciate your free content, man. Gold 1 hour and 4 hours. Sure, man. Let's see, gold over here. Let's go down to the 4 hour. We haven't really looked at these lower term timeframes. Let's go to the 1 hour. Both of these, I think, are corrective right now. I think that I still think it's a range play. I think you're coming back down, to 5,100, maybe somewhere between 5,100 to 50, somewhere in this little pocket right here. Let me get no, not the arrow, not the arrow. I want my rectangles. There we go. My rectangles, my beautiful rectangles. There you go. All right, there we go. I appreciate that, Haven Pac-Man. I do appreciate that. Hair, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Until you lose it, you think that. Until you lose it. Let's see. Let me go on to the next one here. Oh, no, that's actually that's it. All right, let's get to the regular chats then. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, it is pretty fucking slow day, huh? Iranian rocket launchers down to 24 a day yesterday from 170 a day on February 20th, according to ChatGPT, excluding drones and not differentiating regarding quality or upgrades of rockets. Fair enough, yeah. Yeah, you know what the most interesting thing to me about the whole Iran conflict is that you got these guys who have rightfully figured out that we get fed a lot of propaganda in the Western world. We get fed a lot of fucking. Shit, man. Fucking read the New York Times about the terrorist attack this past weekend. We get a lot of propaganda, of course, in the Western media. But then I will see a lot of people recognize that again, rightfully, and then they just go straight off to the other side's propaganda, and they just start like fucking, going balls deep into fucking Russian and Chinese propaganda. It's absolutely incredible, man. Like they can see it on one side, but can't see it on the other side, or maybe at some point they probably will see it. But yeah, man, with regards to the Iran war, we are still heavy within the fog of war. These are things that I've heard as well, but at the end of the day, man, you and I, we're just fucking simple plebs. Like we're never gonna fucking know, man. You got to think about all of the higher intelligence and everything in charge. And I'm sure there's a whole game of smoke and mirrors. I'm sure that there's a whole game with everything, really. But yeah. So have the metrics changed for what day of the week finishes higher and lower? What exactly do you mean, sir? I can't do needles, man. Dude, I've actually done, you know what I used to do a lot is dry needling. I'm not sure how useful it is, but it feels like it's doing something. I feel like the old saying of believe half of what you see and nothing of what you hear is more yeah. I would say that that's actually very, very accurate. Very, very accurate. I've come to the conclusion that I want to see things myself in order to validate them. And even then, like who's to say that I'm a fucking, good judge of that? Like I'm not fucking educated in like real war. Okay. The extent of my war education is playing a shit ton of StarCraft and Age of Empires and Total War, which actually probably is not that bad. You learn a lot about diplomacy. You learn a lot about strategy. You learn a lot about the battlefield. You do. You really do. But maybe I should apply for a job. Any thoughts on STRD for dividends? So STRD, if memory serves me correctly, is the weakest of the MicroStrategy Bitcoin bond offerings. Let me bring it up right here. I actually deleted it from this one's Stride. So this is the bad one. In my opinion, if I was purely going for what is effectively a dividend play, I would go with either STR, what's the newest one, STRC or STRF. Personally, I go into STRF because it is preferred dividends, and well, I just like that. And honestly, I'm going to sell that after this next dividend day as well, which is only on Friday. So yeah, man. Would I do STRD? No. This one has the most risk out of all of them. Now, if you are just trying to maximize your potential output, this one can be okay, I guess, but you also notice that this one has the biggest deviations and biggest potential for capital depreciation compared to STRC, which is effectively a line chart. I mean, it looks like it's getting big wicks down here, but these are, 5% moves at most, which are quickly bought up, intra week, whereas STRD is in like an actual downtrend, and it's actually, lost like 20-30% from its top. So not great. Same thing with the one that I was actually holding as well, or am holding, STRF. So I kind of personally want to get out of this stuff to begin with, just because, the capital loss is real. Yes, I did buy it lower, but I just don't like this downturn right here. I feel like I will have a real capital loss if I hold it for much longer. But I am in below $100, so it's okay. It doesn't really affect me that much technically. At the same time, I can kind of see where this one's going, and I don't fucking like it. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. So I'll put it that way. Haven't played Age of Empires in ages, man. I got to tell you, the newest one that came out, not that amazing. Still, Age of Empires #2 is like one of the best games of all time. It really is. It's incredible. Crypto needs more cheerleaders. Yeah, we do need more cheerleaders. That's right. Need to get some pom-poms. Did we look at RCAT yet, says Giuseppe? No, we haven't, man. We can go back to it. I was actually looking for a bigger correction on this thing, Red Cat right here, and instead this thing just keeps on eating up its fucking corrections and going straight up. I was looking for it to come down a little bit more towards 12 and a half. Looks to me like it's going to try a real move to the upside from here. Monday's downside move was very short-lived. But again, full disclosure, I do hold this one. I like the uptrend. I'm going to be treating the trend as my friend until proven otherwise. And right now for the weekly, as long as this thing's above $11, I'm bullish. I hold it for much lower. Again, full disclosure, I do hold a lot of this one. But I generally like to hold things that I think are going to do. It's a crazy idea, I know. No, they paid me off. I've accepted a bunch of RCAT coins. That's a joke. It's supposed to be a joke. But yeah, I think that this one's in a pretty strong position to break out. I think it's going $20 plus. Yeah, I'll put it that way. Dan Robinson says, just bought a Medicinals NFT. How do I get access to the Crown Trading Bible? So there should be a way to claim it through their system. I imagine, or I know that Medicinals has all of those tutorials laid out on how to claim everything, but it'll be in their Discord, and yeah, it should be no problem. So yeah, StarCraft Brood War is the best ever. God, man, I spent so many fucking hours on that game as a kid, man. I fucking love that game. No Age of Empires 4. I think it's okay. I don't love it. I like it, just don't love it. D Cowboys 24 says, hey Crown, any suggestions for parking trading capital between setups besides money markets? Actually, what we were just looking at is an option if you are okay with that risk. The Bitcoin bond offerings from MicroStrategy. So I would say STRC is probably the best one of these to be holding, just because you have the least amount of risk of capital depreciation while still getting about a 10% dividend. But I would still do it like this, man. I would just buy right before the dividend date, which is this Friday, by the way, and then I'd sell the next day that I can, and still get the dividend. And then I just put my that money back in the money market and make 3.5% there. Yeah, you're going to take a few, you might take a few losses here and there, but overall, at least for my calculations, you will end up a little bit up, compared to just holding STRC alone. And personally, I just don't want the risk of holding these Bitcoin bond offerings to begin with, even though I know it is lower risk, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know, the game is so complicated at this point that I feel like I can't accurately understand where the real risk is anyway. So yeah. You're currently using Main. I don't know about this one. Oh, Main Street Cap. I'm guessing you're doing this as like a dividend play. I mean, you get some capital appreciation here, which is nice. It's fine. I don't know what the dividend is on this thing. Let's see. Where's your dividend? Should show it right here. Oh, 5.35%. That's not bad. That's pretty good for a dividend stock. What about the other one? Jeppy, J-E-P-I. Whoops. J-E-P-I. There we go. It's JP Morgan. I am the biggest JP Morgan hater at this moment because they've given me so much fucking grief with my banking and everything there. Fuck them. Yeah, this thing, I mean, I would choose the other one over this one. I don't know. Is it putting in a reversal here? Maybe yes, but the other one is just a faster horse overall. This one is, it probably does go up. I just don't think it's going to go up as much as the other one. The other one's just objectively a better chart. Handy Ram says Bitcoin struggling to make $71,000. I mean, it just got there, man. Like, give it a chance. It hasn't passed it in 5 minutes. It sucks. I think it's about to do it like right now, man. Look at that. That is a beautiful accumulation at that same short-term resistance level. I mean, that's probably going to break to the upside, but that's only a 5-minute time frame. I mean, shit, man. Like, I still think that this one's going back up to last week's high. I think that's a very, 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 very high probability play right now. Let's see. I just saw Solana released a new AI programming tool called Poof. Does it poof away your fucking capital? I mean, it's probably going to go up here, to be fair. I don't know if it's going to go up that much. I mean, it's objectively a terrible chart at this point, but I don't know, corrected move. Maybe as much back to like $100 if it's lucky, and then down only from there. It's probably what I'd be thinking, to be honest, man. Age of Empires, best game ever. Age of Empires 2, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Hero Priest, we still here, baby. We are still here. Anyone play Star Crusader? I can't say that I have, man. Sounds like something that I probably like, though. Crown, you said you wanted to add content to the Trading Bible later. Will it just be more options content or something else? The options content already is pretty fleshed out on the Crown Trading Bible. I'll just tell you what I'm going to do with the new content update. It's actually literally pretty much all ready, but I want to finish. I want to upload the options 101 playlist first, and then I'll just give you another insight. I will raise the price of the Crown Trading Bible when I do this, but I'm going to add a bunch of quizzes. I'm going to add certificates and a little bit more content pertaining to long-term investing. And when I get through all of that, the quiz is already done. The long-term investing is getting there. But when I get through all of that, which is probably like 2-3 months away, then we'll raise the price a little bit. Oh, by the way, I should let you know, we're going to have a sale starting tomorrow because it's the fucking 8th year anniversary of this channel. 8th year anniversary of the channel. It would be 20% off as usual. But goddamn, man, like 8 years? What the fuck? Does that even sound right? Okay, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, this is 9 years. Wait, no. It's 8 years. It's 8 years. The lack of sleep, not doing well, man. Not doing well. It was the first PC game I played. I think the first PC game I played was StarCraft 1. That was life changing. Or no, the first PC game I ever played was that. The first game I ever played was probably GoldenEye N64. That was a great time. Been here since year one. Fucking yes, baby. Fucking yes. Funny. Yes, I lost 2,800 trading Hawk Tuah. Yeah, many such cases out there in the world, my man. Many such cases. It's unfortunate. Will Bible owners get the new upgrades? Absolutely. No. Anyone who buys the programs never has to pay more to get content that is updated to exactly that program. We don't do that. I don't believe in that kind of shit. I like to reward the people who were basically on earlier anyways. So no, you will literally get every fucking upgrade in the future. I'll also tell you, you're going to get another indicator. You're going to get the crown oscillator. I've been saying that it's like done for a while, or like almost done for a while. It basically is ready, but I want to release all these things at once so that it justifies a bit of a price increase. But yeah, it will all be coming. You're not going to have any future increase in charges. No, whatever you price you bought it at is what you will have for life. MG76 says BE. This is Bloom Energy. I know we looked at this a couple times on Monday. Yeah, still good. Probably one of the better charts we've seen today, actually, as well. Potential here even for a bullish engulfing dildo on the weekly if it can close above last week's high of 166 and 28 cents. Overall, though, I think it's good. Short term, you got a nice little short term boundary at the price action pivot at 165.79. If you can reclaim that, I think that you will complete the weekly bullish engulfing and you will see new highs probably, I don't know, next week, something like that if it happens. But for right now, it's right at that sort of next boundary. I just don't want to see it back down below basically Monday's low. That would look very, very bad. But for right now, yeah, give it a chance. It's in a strong position. One of the best charts we've seen today, actually. Quarterly is going to be likely closing very strongly. Not bad, man. Not bad. Yeah, I'd only turn bearish on it if it does come back down below Monday's low. That's where I'd turn bearish. And bearish isn't even the right word. It's just looking for a deeper correction down to like 110. Something like that, man. Oh, you played Civilization? Man. Oh, Civilization. I've spent many hours on that in college. I used to take Adderall and play that thing for like 2 days straight. I had this friend in college. Who one had Adderall and then introduced me to Civilization. And he didn't just have like the normal Adderalls. He had what's called Vyvanse, which if you don't know, it's like Adderall on steroids. it's like 100 mgs of Adderall basically, which if you don't also know, Adderall is basically methamphetamine. and I can tell you it's very effective and it definitely works. And yes, if you want to study as well, you can do that with it. You could also play Civilization and basically have no limit. Crown, if Trump nukes Iran, do we get a massive black swan or all our markets wrecked for like 5 years? I don't know. I also highly doubt that would happen, but I have no idea, man. I have no idea. Again, my combat experience is relegated to video games, Total War. We don't have nukes in that game, so I don't have any precedents. A lot of cannons, though, can rain some fucking hellfire on you. I know a combat engineer that took 2 weeks off of leave to play Siphon Filter when it came out. Yeah, man. Yep. Yeah, basically meth, Ice PP. Basically meth. It really is, man. Like, we used to love that in college. You know, you'd study on it, and then you'd be up for like fucking 48 hours straight. And for whatever reason, when you're on Adderall and you drink, you don't feel drunk at all, but the next day you feel the effects, the hangover effects. It's fucking awful, man. Terrible times. But we used to think like, oh, if we just drink a lot and then we take an Adderall, it basically cancels it out so that we can go to sleep. Didn't work like that. Let's see what else we got here, man. Echo the Dolphin was the best water game you could ever... Wait, what? Echo the Dolphin? Never heard of this one, man. But if we do indeed live in a simulation, you are Combat Master. Maybe yes, it could be. If we're talking about like Dungeons and Dragons, yeah, could probably do pretty well there. Look, I am a really good strategist in Total War. I'm telling you, if you need help in that, I can definitely do it. But I don't know, managing a modern army... I've played a lot of Call of Duty. Who knows? What about the energy sector view? If war didn't end, if war doesn't end, what do you think is going to happen to energy sector? I mean, you already know it's going to happen, man. It's not going to be good. But do I think the war is going to end? Yes, it will end, very likely. I don't like the doomerism, honestly, because it just almost never plays out. When I look at this chart right here, I don't think that the oil situation is going to be that bad for that long. I think if we fast forward a couple months from now, it's going to be back around like $60. Maybe I end up eating my words significantly, but that's what I'm thinking right now, man. You know, that's what I'm thinking right now. It's like usually when you see these crazy events, it's a high. And like all of the fucking usual podcast crew that I listen to that I respect, but they're not market analysts. They don't look at this stuff. They don't really know about this stuff. They're all talking about it right now. And that's usually a sign to me that when they start to talk about it in unison, we're probably around a major high, man, because that's the only time when those things start to like make the news or, podcasts like that. I saw the same thing in Bitcoin, saw the same thing in gold, saw the same thing in traditional markets when it was doing it as well. It's all the same shit, man, really. It's all psychology, I suppose. Straight Path says, can we take a look at iron? Sure. IREN on NAS. Corrective in the short term, but I think this correction might actually almost be over. Potential here again for a bullish engulfing dildo. Just needs to close above last week's high of 44.20, and that would be my confirmation that this thing's going to fly back up towards these highs here in the 60s. Maybe not the same day, but overall. Until then, though, you still got downside risk. It's a downturn right now on the daily, obviously. So yeah, I can tell you where to get quite bearish on this thing. Just breaking back down below Monday's low, that would be quite bad. That would be very, very ugly. And that is 35.64. Yeah, 35.64. I'd send this one back down to like 25, mid 20s, something like that. But for right now, I'd give it the benefit of the doubt just because, this is objectively consolidation on highs. So I wouldn't get super bearish until that gets validated. Can I check Iran versus USD? Well, if you're talking about their currency, yeah, it's absolutely fucked, but such is war, man. Such is war. Just restarted BG. Oh, man. Baldur's Gate 3 is a classic. But if you liked that game, there's actually a game from the same developers that I liked a little bit more, which is Divinity Original Sin 2. That is a fucking phenomenal CRPG. Word. No reason to do cocaine when you have Adderall, except for fun. That is true as well, yes, except for the fun. I think they're both pretty fun, honestly, man. Well, I don't know. Cocaine's more of a headache. I feel like Adderall is honestly better, if you're really going for the effects, because like cocaine, you got 30 minutes of fun and then you're basically feeling like shit again until you do more. I don't know. It sucks, in my opinion, at least. Havenback says, I can't take that stuff. I dated this girl. She gave me like a quarter of a 5 mig. I stayed up for 30. Oh my God. 5 migs is like quite low actually. And drank 45 mil. That sounds very accurate. That sounds very accurate actually. God, I want to see oil go sub again. Just so gas isn't so stupid. Yeah, I mean, man, when that happened, that was a wake up call. It's like, you think you've seen everything in markets? Fuck no, you haven't. You just fast forward another year and you're going to see another crazy thing like that too. Are you a hype per denier? What? Is this another fairy tale shitcoin? Yes. Am I a hype denier? Are you talking about like hype this thing here? I mean, I look, I think 99.9% of shitcoins are just garbage and are not going anywhere. This one actually does seem to have like some life here. Let me find the chart that actually has history, which is not that one. It is going to be maybe this one here. Yeah, I think I'm going to retest these highs, but I don't know. To be fair, it does look objectively better than most crypto shitcoins. Absolutely, no doubt about that. So am I a hype denier? I don't know. I think right now, if it was going to reject, it should reject at about $36. If it really starts to close above there, on a couple of closures, I would have to change around my opinion. But for right now, to be fair, it is quite literally probably among the best crypto charts, if not the best crypto chart. Because you do have a weekly higher low in here. You got a daily reversal. You're back above the 200 simple, not on a closing base yet, but it's close. And if you could take out this high over here, I would be remiss not to be bullish on that. So yeah, it is what it is, man. Hey, all good, Mr. Cowboy NZ. 30 minutes behind, but all good, sir. Hype versus Bitcoin. Okay, I can do that. Like, Bitcoin's going down though, so it's not like really the best. It's your money. Yeah, I mean, this is good. No doubt about that. But you got two assets that are basically going down. Just one's outpacing the other. But yeah, it is a good sign that this thing is looking better. So yeah, I certainly see it right there. Look, if you had to buy a crypto and this was it, I guess I wouldn't I could understand why you do that. I wouldn't do it myself, but I could understand why. Circle, what levels do you see for a pullback? I still I think it was mid 90s in the next week or two. Oh God, a lot of shit coins today. Okay, this is concerning. Net, N-E-T. Is this Cloudflare? Is that what you're looking at? Oh, man. Man, oh man. Okay, let's go to a weekly. Pretty good here, actually. Pretty good. So price action pivot is showing the 158.83 number as relevant. So I'd say if you do finish Friday above there, I'd be looking at this as low confirmed and, fly back up to 230, 240, whatever. Yeah, monthly would look like another higher low on hidden bullish divergence, on low volatility. These are all good things. If I had to bet on direction, it's going to be up. Okay. ALCH. Oh God, what is this thing? Hold on, let me move my thingy. There we go. All right, Alchemist AI. Terrible. Really bad, man. Really fucking bad. Probably coming back down to these lows. If we fast forward a month or two from now, I would be expecting it to be around 5 cents, a lot more than it ever getting back above 11 cents, for example. That's what I'd say about that. Let's see. Yes, we got that one. Yarbrook says, I don't like cocaine. I just like the way it smells. Indeed. I've heard this many times before. What happened to the girl that used to laugh in the background? That's actually my wife. I think she's just tired right now, man. Meme, I am not a clever man. Yes, indeed. I know. Tesla for Jay. We kind of looked at Tesla already. Yeah, it's going to have a chance to put in a weekly bullish engulfing dildo, but needs to close above 408.5 by Friday. So it's hanging right around there. That would be the next thing that I'm waiting for, though. I think you probably will do that. That's just a personal opinion. But if you do reclaim that number, I'd be happy to look at this one as, likely to fly back up, somewhere in the, mid fours, 450, 460, whatever. Hoy Hoy says 71,000 just perforated. Yes, we poking some holes in 71,000 bucks. Excuse me. Highly unprofessional on a channel that talks about fucking magic internet dildos. But yeah, 71,300. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Look at my chart 0. I'm here for that. Wait, what? To look up any chart 0? Wait, what? What am I looking at? Did you already cover Link? Pretty much no one's interested in shitty ass cryptos anymore, but I can look at it for you. Chainlink looks very similar to Bitcoin on the short term. Probably going to try a rally here. If I had to guess, it's probably going to get back up to about whatever last week's high was, maybe slightly higher towards $10, something like that. Long term, hate it. Absolutely fucking hate it. I think whatever rally you get here, whether it gets to $10 or, maybe at best case scenario, $12, I would want to be a seller if I had to do something. But yeah, it's just terrible chart, man. Terrible chart. Short term, though, should rally. I think most of these cryptos are probably going to be doing the same as Bitcoin. So, I'd be targeting the 55 EMA on most of these rallies, maybe a little bit higher on some of them, the stronger ones. Why don't you own any transferable machine guns? God, man. I'm probably not that far away from that at this point, man. I'm really not. I have I counted it out yesterday. I think I have 10 guns right now, or 12. I think I have 10 rifles and 2 handguns. Where did this all come from? I don't know, but I love it. And I'm going to go to the range later today. I just got a PCC and a very short barreled rifle, an 8-inch one. So I'm looking forward to testing those out today. One of them is kind of like a Gucci gun, but the PCC actually I'm really excited about. Feel like that would be a good Elsa gun as well. Ammo costs go burr. Yeah, man. Honestly, I was looking at ammo costs. So ammo's super interesting, man. Just to kind of chart it out. If you adjust for inflation, the prices right now are actually pretty good. They actually are pretty good, historically speaking. Again, inflation adjusted. But yeah, I mean, it does seem like it's a little bit higher. So is it a good inflation hedge? Kind of not. It holds its value. Doesn't really gain value. It is what it is. The guns themselves actually do seem to hold their value quite well. Anyways, next gen nuclear stock, Oklo or SMR. I don't know either, or I think we've looked at Oklo before. I don't remember what his chart looks like. I don't like the chart right here. It's not great. It's probably got a rally off this number here. I think that you get a rally back up into like the low 70s, but I'm not a humongous fan of it right now. SMR, new scale power. Same thing. If I had to choose one, it'd be Oklo, not this one. I'm not necessarily a big fan of either, though. MG76 says AAOI. Gotcha. AAOI. Okay. Applied Optoelectronics. Really good. The first chart we've seen today actually like literally making new highs right now. So I'm never going to hate that. Let's see. Is it close to putting in a high? No, I think that this one's got some more juice, man. You're not even at daily volatility extremes. You're actually coming off of, you know, a little bit of a contraction phase right there. Weekly is getting up there for sure, but I would expect the moving average on this one to get all the way up to 100 percentile as well. So, you know, that might take another few weeks. So I'd generally be bullish on this thing. I don't think there's any reason to even be anticipating, you know, a bearish reversal until you're below last week's low. I don't think that that's going to happen, but that would be my point. And I guess we have charted this one before, and this was my intended target, which is 135. So you're getting very close to that. So I would be expecting a pullback somewhere around there. Cool. Straight Pass says, I took your full TA course in 2022. Phenomenal. Now starting the free TA course, a breath of fresh air to review and strengthen the basic concepts. Really happy to hear that, man. Really, really happy to hear that. And yeah, the free TA course, it's going to be like a refresher of the most important concepts. Of course, the full TA course is just like a fucking massive just info dump, basically. But the free TA 101 program will kind of walk you back through the most important things in their order and then how to set that up. So yeah, it's, you know, just a good refresher right there. What's your overall opinion on crypto coin Mantle? Probably not good. Mantle. Never heard of it before. Trades on Coinbase. Can't be that bad, I guess. Oh, but it is terrible. Like, in what world are you expecting me to say that this is great? It's making new all-time lows, man. It's just fucking god-awful. Do I think it's going to rally here? Yeah, most things are going to get a free rally here. This thing probably gets back up to like 73, 75, whatever. You know, maybe in spikes a little bit higher towards 78. It's possible. But do I think that this downtrend is going to end? Probably never. Okay, there is a potential for a move to like 85 cents, I guess, but it's just a game of finding the next lower high. These are garbage coins, man. They got no shot, in my opinion. The ones that are good are showing their strength and have showed their strength. The ones that are bad just look like this. They get their one blow off top, boom, down only for forever. A cursed chart indeed. A cursed chart very much indeed. One moment. If you could please have a look at AMPG. Sure. AMPG, Amplitech Group. Not doing fuck all, man. Kind of just a bad investment because it just doesn't move. And I think your next move is likely to the downside, if anything, probably back down to $2. But no real strong opinions on this. Just long term, I don't like it. It's just, you can't be going sideways during generational bull markets. It's not a good sign, man. If I had to call it, it's going to be down from here. Do I feel that confident on it? Not really, but I certainly would not be looking at this one as investable personally. Mantle is doing an airdrop and you can play their game. I'm sure the game is great. I'm sure the game's really good, man. It's doing really well. You should come to Texas so my wife can dye them grays out your hair. That would be nice. Can she do my beard too? My balls have a lot of gray hairs as well, by the way. I'm not even like trying to make a fucking advance on your wife. I'm saying for real, my balls, very, very gray hairy. Very gray hairy. Not good, man. Not good at all. Which are the strong alts in your opinion? I don't know because I don't really spend my time looking at them because almost none of them are strong. Almost none. I guess hype, if any of them. But look, like if Bitcoin's going to fail, they're all going to fail, man. It's almost undoubted. It's almost without doubt. I don't think that you're best served by playing shitcoin roulette. I think you're best served by going to the hot markets right now. The hot markets are in traditional markets. You got the well, to a lesser extent, tech right now, but oil is going to be the hot thing for a little bit. Gold and silver kind of cooling off. There's always something going on, man, but it certainly ain't fucking crypto, man. Crypto is not the hot thing. It's not the fucking hot thing. Yeah, we actually did look at hype earlier. Hype actually, I mean, if any of them are going to have a nice move to the upside, that would be it. But even then, you know, you can't get too bullish on a shitcoin when Bitcoin's doing what it's doing, right? So yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, Mr. Cowboy. Can we look at TSX Toronto? Sure. TSX. Well, is there? That is the name of the exchange, not the. I don't think you're talking about this. I actually don't know what you're talking about. TSX is the Toronto Exchange, but that's not a ticker, sir. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm misreading that. You let me know. We can look at Monero. I can't promise that I got many nice things to say about it, especially last time I looked at it. I think it failed its massive breakout attempt. Let's see. Yeah. Classic Monero. Has a breakout attempt, fails. I honestly think it's going to be, you know, back down to like $300 from here in the short term. Might try another rally after that, but not super great here, obviously. I think your next move is down, basically. If I got up my LARP lines, like maybe it retests $400 if you're lucky again, then slams down to like 300 or maybe even 250, somewhere in this pocket here. Maybe get another major low there, but yeah, I think that you do have a nice downside move before it's all said and done, at least. You play any good games lately? Honestly not, man. I'm trying to get back into, what's it called, Bannerlord, because there's a really good Lord of the Rings conversion mod there, but I don't know, man. I just haven't had the time. I've been getting too much into gun games recently. So yeah, Hype is doing well against Bitcoin. Sure, man. But again, you're talking about an asset that is going down. So it's like the retard Olympics, okay? Both of them are going down. Which one is going down faster? Bitcoin's going down more. So Hype is going to look better in that case. But is going down versus the US dollar a good overall? No, obviously not. Now, if you are super intent on investing in some crypto and you pulled up a Hype chart, I'd say, okay, yeah, if you put a gun on my head and said, you must fucking invest, I guess, but I wouldn't feel good about it. I would be expecting to lose money. You know, it's not great. Be Good says, how much real world revenue and profit margins does a company have to make per quarter to not be a crypto shitcoin anymore? It's not about revenue, man. It's about having a good looking chart. We are investors or traders here. And so the idea for you as an investor is to make fucking money, unless if you are also a part of the retard Olympics. Sorry, I shouldn't be using that term in that way. That is uncalled for. But what I'm trying to say is, man, it's like, who gives a fuck about that? You like, your company can be as successful as possible, but if the number don't go fucking up and you aren't making money, is it a good investment? Obviously not. Obviously not. So the revenue does not matter. The profit margin does not matter. The chart matters, and it should reflect those, but it doesn't always reflect those because you got forwards outlooks, you got all sorts of different things that influence that. So you can't just look at that. Otherwise, people would only be purely fundamental, investors, and obviously that's not a thing. That gets laughed at on Wall Street. So my point is, man, it's like you can have all those great things and your price still goes down. That's not fucking good, obviously. So when is it not a shitcoin? When it makes new highs and new higher lows on a macro scale from cycle to cycle. That's when it's not a shitcoin anymore. And almost no cryptos do that. Very, very few. A handful, probably less than 10 from a cycle will do that in the next cycle. They will make new highs and new macro lows. The rest of them just get forced off into the face of obscurity. And yeah. Anyways, Marty says, please, GLW coming. Is that a ticker? Oh, it's Corning. Jesus, man. Probably back down to this base at 120, but I'm not necessarily bearish on it. I just think it flushes out those lows a little bit more. Maybe even get one more move low to like 107, 108, but I'd be looking for it to try for a low there. When I look at this one on the long term, though, it is pretty, what's it called? It is pretty mature in this rally. It is pretty exaggerated. Like this, you could argue is a blow off top. So kind of concerning right there. Let's see what a quarterly looks like. I think that you might have one more try to the upside after consolidation. But in the short term, yeah, I do expect this one to come back down, basically. I want to see it set in another base somewhere in this vicinity here. Hopefully it bounces for your sake and reclaims this week's high. If it does, then yeah, you probably got some new highs in place. Until then, I do think it's corrective at best for right now. Cool. All right. Let's see what else we got. Okay, Mr. Pickaboo, very strange, very fucking strange. I sincerely hope you have a better day. Like, I just like I read a comment like that from time to time, and I just like I honestly I used to get like a little bit ticked off before. 'Cause it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, sir? But then I just started to have like compassion for these people. It's like, what is going on in your brain that, like, what is going on in your brain that makes typing that out in public makes sense to you? Like, you gotta be really, like, that's just gotta be painful, man. I'm sorry, man. I hope your day is going better, honestly. I really do. Asia Massage says M16 may be best transferable. Yeah, but those are gonna be like what, like 30-year-old fucking guns? I mean, that's gonna be a while, man. 30K and the versatility of like a billion AR uppers. Oh, so you could replace the upper. Is it only the lower that you're basically buying in that case, and then that's legit, and you could put on whatever upper you want? So like I could buy an M16 fully auto, and then I could just swap out the top. Would it be compatible with like the more modern M4s? I don't know. You let me know, man. That'd be pretty fucking cool, man. That'd be pretty fucking cool. Hey, all good straight path. Yeah, rent free. It's strange, man. You know, the politics and social media has just broken so many brains, unfortunately. And honestly, man, I don't even say that it's like fucking broke your brain, you idiot. No, like it was doing it to me too, man. I did delete Twitter from my phone because I was turning into a fucking an insufferable cunt like this guy. Sorry, but I mean, you know, it is a little bit insufferable. Yeah, man. Like I had to get off that because everything is being spun. Everything is being spun that you are consuming on these social media venues. I mean, shit, even on a video like this, I mean, you're getting my spin, I guess, but you know, when it comes to the news and everything, like they're spinning you in the way that makes you angry. Like you just get angry and angry and angry, and you have no outlet for it as well, except for like, I guess, just typing a fucking passive aggressive message or even an aggressive message, you know, online. But I mean, that's probably creating like so many fucking mental illnesses or something, man. Would you be interested in an intern? I candidate myself. Sure. What's your qualifications, sir? Twitter is great if you're low on cortisol. I understand what you said there, sir, and 1,000,000% yes. If you want to spike your cortisol and keep it spiked, go on Twitter. It's great for that. It really is. Yeah, you can even send uppers over. I deployed. Wait, what? Really? I deployed my friend his own upper and he put it on his actual That is cool. That's super cool. Because I hear actually, if you do join the military, they kind of give you like some shitty rifles, honestly, which sucks, man. Like my friend was telling me he was a Marine and they had their standard fucking Colt M4, I think it was, and it's got like an 8-pound trigger. Like, why? Why would they do that? It doesn't really make sense, man. I play Mobile Legends, bang, bang, bang on Mythic and almost impossible to kill. I just wait. What the fuck? oh, it's a mobile game. Gotcha. Hive is looking bottomy, or am I wrong? Is this a stonk or a crypto? I'm guessing it's stonk. Is it bottoming? No, this is terrible, man. It's a fucking disastrous downtrend. There's not much in the way of a bottom there, in my opinion, man. It's a down only chart that's literally been down only during a fucking phenomenal bull market. Like it's just not a good sign, man. This is a chart of a shitcoin, even though it's not a shitcoin. Do I think it's bottoming? No, I think it's getting ready to retest these lows here, man. You just got a monthly lower high. So unless you're talking about something on like the very, very short term, I don't really agree, man. I remember we even looked at this one like a couple months ago. I'm like, this is fucking bad. And I still stick with that, man. This one's a lot more likely to retest these lows, around $1 than it is to pop back up above fucking $3 ever again, in my opinion, at least. Isn't Hive crypto mining? I don't know. I don't know what it does. Let's see. Technology services, information technology. That can mean many things, obviously. I have no fucking clue. Guys, did my explanation of which part is MG post or not? I don't know if it did. YouTube might have auto-moderated it. YouTube does that sometimes. Or maybe it's this one right here. He said yes for AR, with the HK, it's a grip. On M250 BMG, it's the left side. No, I'm reading this out of Tune there. Let's see. Could we look at now? Sure. Why not? Service Now, great name. Bad chart, or at least this move to the downside pretty bad. I do think, though, you are putting in a low here. I don't know how optimistic I'd be about it long term with the way that it's absolutely collapsed here, but I do think that this is going to be a low, and you will spend many months kind of like digging out these lows, rallying up, probably rejecting, hopefully something like that long term, but I don't think it's doing nothing interesting to the upside for a long time. You just had a massive volume explosion on this low, and volatility, I imagine, too. Yeah, absolutely, on the monthly highest levels ever. This should be a low. Maybe retest that low once or twice, but that should be a low, and it should rally off that. Crown's Gun Cave. I fucking love guns, man. They're the best. Look, if you're an American, even if you're not an American, go out there, buy some fucking guns. Train with your guns. Don't be an asshole. Don't be a herpity derp. Hopefully you're a good person. And if you have a gun, you'll be an even better person. I'm telling you right now, if you're an American especially, that is the way that things were designed to be here. It actually really was. When you actually read the Constitution and everything, it's very clear that that is how this place was designed. And there are reasons for that. Maybe some people disagree with that, of course, but yeah. It's pretty enlightening, man. It's actually pretty enlightening. Anyways, I just took James' advice and a few other people's advice, and I just went full into crypto, and I'm not going to change that. It's my whole life. It's like a full-time job just doing my DeFi. Fair enough. More power to you, man. I hope it works out for you. I don't share the same optimism, though. And by the way, in the short term, I do think that this one will come back down and retest these lows. You got massive hidden bearish divergence on the 55 EMA. That is a classic setup. For every gun you have to buy backup. That's exactly right, Biff the Bear. You need to buy a backup and then a backup for the backup, of course. Yes. And you need 10 guns in total of each category. So 10 AR-15s, 10 AR-10s, 10 pistols, 10 subcompact pistols, 10 full-size duty pistols, and of course 10 PCCs, 10 fucking AR-9s. You need everything, okay? You need just fucking buy them all, okay? Just buy as much as you can. Take out loans, go deep into debt. Kidding. But seriously, you should at least own one. Gecko says AR-15s are the registered firearm, which you have to fill out. Right. Yes, okay. Yes, that I do know, because when I put together guns, it's the lower that requires you to pass form, 4475 or something like that. But the upper, you can buy uppers and they just come straight to your fucking house. Great. It's amazing. Get guns that do multiple things, like where you can change them out. If you can only get a few guns, you can buy like a Thompson center rifle. Huh, I've never heard about this. Yeah, that's probably the more reasonable take there, though. Are there publicly traded ammunition companies paying dividends? I don't think so. I think that there's like some tickers on the market that have some hand in that, but it's not like a straight up ammunition company. Honestly, I don't think investing in gun companies or even in ammunition companies is like a good do, because, well, you do have to fight regulations and everything, and who knows what the hell happens with that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of Smith and Wesson. I remember had a fucking abysmal chart, or did it? I think it's something else. No, yeah, it does have an abysmal chart that's terrible. Don't like it at all. But it is going up here. And it probably does go up more. And actually, maybe this might be in the next macro low. Maybe I'm completely fucking wrong. Holy shit, I might be completely fucking wrong on this one. Yeah, in general, I remember I did go through a bunch of different manufacturer tickers, and I remember thinking to myself, no, thank you. Judging by these comments, we may need to go lower, Mr. Crown. It's like I said, I'm very possible to Bitcoin going lower amount, but I don't know. I want to give it a chance here personally. It is a little bit of an uncharacteristic day. There are more crypto shitcoin requests than usual, but look, people are free to do what the fuck they want to do, man. That's why we got markets, man. That's how we got markets. Cooked, says ISPP. Indeed. Looks like a Bitcoin style chart. Well, this is quite literally Bitcoin right here. Or if you're talking about the Smith & Wesson one, yeah. Looks like a regular crypto shitcoin chart. Asian Massage says $0 tax stamps on NFA devices right now. I know, because I got a silencer. It's beautiful. Except MG. What's a DD? I don't know what DD is, man. Buy some whisper pickles before Team Blue adjusts NFA stamp. Yeah, foreign plate. Yeah, I know that is what they're trying to, or what they would like to do if they could. Are whisper pickles? Is that a silencer? I actually do have one silencer. I should probably get another one. But what's DD? I don't know what DD is, man. Unless are they trying to ban double Ds too? Holy shit! These Democrats really have gone out of line. Holy fuck! It really is true. These people hate women. They want to get rid of our double Ds. Oh my god! What a catastrophe! What a catastrophe! That would be the worst potential situation. Oh my god! Yeah, too much political risk. Yeah, I do agree. Symbol PEW, this is Pew, grab a gun digital holding. So I'm guessing this is, oh yeah, terrible. Terrible. So it's like, I support what this company probably does, but as far as trust go, this is uninvestable. This is terrible. This is down only. It's fucking god awful. Has Shield been doing well? It hasn't really been doing much, just consolidating around the highs. We can go check it out really quick. You know, I think that overall it's going to break out to the upside here, but it's corrective right now. It's probably going to try for a higher low, maybe somewhere around 73.5. Do something like that, you know, that would look pretty good. But for right now, not super eventful. Corrective. Hopefully puts in a higher low there. Crown, what was the defense stock you bought and mentioned a couple of lives back? There's been many, man. There was IDE, maybe it was TXT. This one has now had the correction that we were looking for. I was saying mid to low 90s. It actually got all the way down to 91. So I wasn't that patient. I bought it a little bit higher than that, but yeah, I still like it. I like the monthly right here. I just look at this as a reconnect with the 5 EMA, which it is. So as long as I'm above there, I'm holding this one. If we start to see closure below there, okay, yeah, got problems. I'll capitulate. I'll take a loss. That's fine. But for right now, you know, I'm gonna put on risk when I see something like that. It's just what I'm gonna do. A Daniel defense. Well, what? Why would there even be a tax stamp on DD? I actually do have a Daniel defense rifle. It's fucking great, man. I love it. People talk shit about them too, but honestly, man, it's probably the rifle that I'd trust the most to just go bang when you pull the trigger. Like, it does what it's supposed to do. It might be quite gassy, you know, it might not be the most fun to handle, but it's going to go fucking bang if you need to go bang. It doesn't matter if it hasn't been oiled in a while. It doesn't matter if it's got sand and shit in it. It's going to go fucking bang. It's great. Or are they trying to ban Daniel defense? That would be strange. I mean, they're supplying half the military fucking guns with their Mark 18, aren't they? Got any shot? I do not have any shotguns, man. I'm actually not that interested in shotguns. I might get one just to get one. Thank you. I just sold AMPG. We'll get TXT. Fair enough. Again, just understand where the risk is. $91, but don't really have to risk too much from where it's at right now to figure out if you're going to be wrong. That's the way that I look at things. AMPG. I'm curious to see what this one looks like. So this is what you sold. Well, okay. If you're going to have to choose between these two, yeah, fuck yeah. I'm going to choose fucking TXT all day long. Goddamn. This is just pathetic. How much are you benching? I actually don't bench really ever. I just do like the cable chest press. Yeah. But when I was like super into benching, you know, I got up to 3 plates one time and that was like the height of it, you know. Speaking of gassy, first time my girlfriend shot my ADM4. Do you have the American Defense? Is that the American Defense rifle? That's so funny you mentioned that, man. I really fucking want one of those, but I can't find them. They're really difficult to find. Anyway, your girlfriend shot your ADM4 with a can on it. She was crying because of the ammonia. Yeah, I don't know what can you have, man, but yeah, they can smell pretty nastily. They definitely can. You need a VEPR for when the Iranians invade. Got to go through Gunbroker though. No more Russian input. A VEP, is that like a PCC? It sounds like it's small. I don't know why, but it sounds like it's small. Heroes of Might and Magic is the true game of all time, greatest of all time game, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I never got in that one, man. Let's see. Is there anything else here, or are we just talking guns now? Oh, destructive device. Okay, yeah. 40 mic for. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. That actually does sound pretty cool to have. You can buy flashbangs, you know? You can buy flashbangs that actually self-reload, I think, too. Or like they are rechargeable, something like that. Oh, it's the AK variant. Okay, yeah. That's what I know it from. I've heard that name before. I'm nearly positive. I just bought a Type 56 AK-47, redid the buttstock. It's lovely. Yeah, man, I got an AK-47 clone as well, man. It's pretty fun. Like, it's pretty fun to use. It's definitely a range toy. But it is fun, man. It's really, really fun. DHT, top in or more to go. Sure, let's check it out. And then we'll go to Caretaker and probably, oops, DHT. I'm talking, God, man, my brain really is fucked today. And I did it again. Oh, God. Bad day. Very bad day. Anyways, DHT, top in or more to go. Okay, is the top in for forever? I don't know about that, but this is absolutely a top, and I do expect it to go sideways and down from here, if that's what you're asking. You got extremes on weekly volatility. You got extremes on volume right there. You got the highest RSI levels on a weekly since, like fucking January 2014 on this high right here, which did produce a nice downside movement. So I think that you're in for a corrective move. I don't know if I would say that it's like the high just yet, but I do think that you will come down to like $15.5, $16, sort of in the shortish term, if you will. Caretaker's looking at Elesior. Okay, this is definitely a new one for me. What the fuck? What the hell did you find this thing, man? I'm guessing it's this? Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a European one. All right. I mean, you're coming off of the monthly 55 EMA. I don't think it's bad to look for a bounce here for sure. I think that you could have a pretty big bounce to like 240, 250, something like that. I think that's a pretty good bet. The quarterly, I'm not a humongous fan of for like. So when I'm thinking in terms of long-term investments, I do also think in terms of opportunity costs. This one very well might be good long-term, but I think if it is going to be good long-term, you're going to spend several quarters kind of filling out this area right here. Next move very likely is a bounce, but as you already know, the quarterly bearish divergence here, that could be very, very, very problematic. So it's like, can you set up a plan around this region? Yeah, you're coming off of a lot of major movement averages. So weekly 200 simple, the monthly 55 EMA should be a bounce here. If you're going to set up a, an investment around here, you got a very obvious invalidation point, right? Oh, Euronext Paris. All right. What is this thing, by the way? Like, what actually is it? It seems like it's maybe an indice of some sort. Oh god. Okay, I'm not getting Lux. Looks like that's Euronext TLX, and you're on Euronext Paris, I think it is. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it has more history on. Usually, the German exchanges are the better ones to go to for Europeans. Look, either way, I think it's bouncing here. Long term, you can definitely make the case that this is going to be like a macro high right here, and it works its way down further towards like 175. But the way to manage this one is the same whether whether you take the trade here or not. If it does lose this number, if it starts to close weeklies below $200, get ready for another like 10 to 20% slide to the downside. So I would capitulate on any position. I think that you will bounce here. I'm just not convinced that it's like going to be the low. But if it is a major indice and it does have a good long-term history of which I cannot find, then I would say probably a good do right here. I mean, coming off the top, just in terms of percentage drawdowns, 36.25. Like, I think if you're going to be a long-term investor, you kind of got to buy that. And be ready to buy lower as well. Oh, it's like Ray-Bans and luxury stuff. Okay, fair enough. What's up, Cameron Malpe? Been a long time, man. Always watch the replay. All good, man. Yeah. Thanks for Teachable. Exactly. All right, let's do a couple more. Then we're going to call it a day here. Yeah, American Defense Fund. Yeah, so you like ADM. Yeah, I've heard good things about ADM, but they're quite difficult to find. I was trying to get the UIC too. Any chance for okay, we'll end on this one. EOSE. EOS Energy. Bad. Just bad, man. Just bad. I do think you probably are setting up for a bounce relatively soon. It might spike these lows first, but I don't think you're going much lower than, 4.25. Okay, that's actually quite a big move from where you're right now. It's like a 50% move. But, whether it spikes these lows or whether it just puts in a low here, both of these things are equally as likely. Either which way, I would be expecting a bounce from there. But that bounce is, I think it's a doomed bounce. I don't like what it's done here at all. So, if this one bounces back above like $7.50 or especially towards $9, that's a gift from God to sell on, in my opinion, at least. What's up, Kevin? Again, been a long time, man, since becoming a dad. Fuck yeah, man. Congratulations. Oh, yeah. We spoke about that earlier. Man, it feels like everyone's having kids now. Everyone's fucking having kids. That's awesome. I'm really happy for a lot of these people. For a lot of these people. I'm really happy for you, man. But no, like, seriously, I swear, like, man, I could probably count up like 10 to 15 people that I know like decently well, all having kids in about the same year. They all got the same thing to say as well. They love it, man. They fucking love it. All right, last one. Like literally the last one for Diamond Jim. He's looking at CLNE, Clean Energy Fuels Corporation. Don't like it. Bad. This one's coming down, man. This is a down-only chart. It's a lot more likely to get back down to $1.50 than it is to pop back up above even like fucking, 3.5. at this point. This is bad. It's bad. Another hidden bearish divergence drive on this lower high right here. I think this one's getting ready for more down, like in the next month or two. And it's just got a history of only going down as well. So, if you're going to try to get one of these one-off pumps, it's, in my opinion, it's complete luck in those cases. Yeah, they do happen, but it's a lot easier to get on the right side of the trend. And that is absolutely to the downside. You have a puppy, almost the same thing. We do have our beautiful little Rosie. And you know what? I'm going to go give her some belly rubs. I'm going to give her some puppy rubs after this. Some good old puppy rubs. And yeah, we'll end things right there. Want to say massive thank you for joining in as always on this nice little Wednesday morning. We'll be back on Friday. I'll continue to upload more videos from the TO 101 playlist. But if you want everything literally right now, it's available to you for, again, free in the link in the description below. It's literally all there. You do have to pass the quizzes, though, so it does require a little bit of effort on your own behalf, of course, but at least get to validate that you actually have learned something. And yeah, like I said, I'll drip those out on YouTube one every week and leave the full content on Teachable. And then once we've uploaded, I think the first 5 of the TA 101 playlist, then we'll do the options. That one I'm so fucking excited for. I just finished all the videos. I'm going to start to work on the quizzes this week. And I don't know, maybe like a month and a half it starts to come out. Anyways, like I said, tomorrow sale starts. 20% off, save yourself a few bucks. Don't buy anything right now unless you got another 20% off code. And we'll have a nice little 8-year anniversary. Anyways, that's where we're going to end things. Wishing you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully